to the is operator lecture. So the is operator tells us if two or more variables are the same object in the Python interpreter's memory on our computer. So let's say we're testing for equality, whereby we have two variables, 1 and 2, that are equal to a list of 1, 2, and 3. And we do the double equals sign, we get, of course, the output of true. But what happens if we do testing for identity with the is operator? Well, let's say we have a and b as our variables, so a equals 1, 2, and 3, and similarly b equals 1, 2, and 3. Run that, and of course if I do a equal to b, we're going to get, unsurprisingly, true. But what happens if I do the is? So we'll have a is b, and we get false. So why is this happening? Well, if we do some print statements here, so control and left tab, and print, and we'll have id, and then if you do shift and tab, you can see it says here, return the identity of an object. And it's going to give the output of a rather large integer number as the identity of the objects, which are a and b. So we'll have a and b. And you can see that their numbers are different here, and therefore they're not the same object, even though they share the same list here. So let's say I was to do x equal to y equal to 10, 20, and 30. Run that, and now if I have x equal to y, of course we get true, but if I change this to is, I also get true as well. And that's because they have the same identity. So just like before, we'll have a control and left tab, then print, we'll have id, and then we'll do y and change this one, of course, to x just to make a comparison. And you can see how they have the exact same number here. And that's because they have the same identity, and that's because they are the same object. Alright, so there's an interesting thing about when you have two variables that share the same identity. Let's say we do y and then index by 0. Of course we get the 10. I'm going to reassign the value to be, let's say, 300. And that's, I'll do y, you can see now it's 300, 20, and 30. So is it still going to be true if I do x is y? It is true. Similarly, if I do x equal to y, it's still true. So we take a look at x, you can see that it's also changed. So when you change y, you also change x. Alright, so what's the purpose of using the is operator exactly? Well, I'll show one example here. Let's say we have box1 equal to just a list, and we'll have car, robots, and ball. So basically a list of toys in a box. Run that, and then I'll do box 2, but this time we'll have car plus robots plus ball. Run that, and of course if I do box 1 equal to box 2, we're going to get true here. But if I do box 1 is box 2, I get false. And this is very useful because, say for instance, we take a look at the time it takes to run the code of box 1 and for box 2. Well, actually box 1 takes far less time than box 2. In fact, if we were to check how long it takes for box 1 to run this line of code, it takes only roughly around 428 nanoseconds. And a nanosecond is a billionth of a second. Whereas with box 2, this cell here, it takes about 1.71 microseconds. And a microsecond is a millionth of a second. So in other words, this cell here takes 428 nanoseconds. It is far faster than this cell here, which takes about 1.7 microseconds. So that's a difference there between them. And you can tell the difference by using the is operator to say that they're basically not the same. Alright, so that's my conclusion to this lecture. I hope that's been insightful, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the Q&A. Thanks.